Hello and welcome to a Project Cars 2 multiplayer race where today we shall be racing around Zolder in a field of GT3 cars, and I am going to be starting from the back of the grid in 17th position driving the Ginetta G55 GT3 car. Now just before we dive into this, there's a couple of things that I just wanted to double check, which is the damage type and mechanical failures are both off. So and if I was correct, yeah, the race is 7 laps in length. So this is a setup that I am running. Haven't changed anything on the tyres on the left hand side. I've upped the tyre pressure slightly on the right hand side for this track, increased the brake pressure to 90%, brake balance 60, closed the ducts up a little bit. As you can see, front downforce I've left as is. Rear downforce I've clicked up 1 to 13.5, I believe it was 11.5 was the default. On the suspension side of things, nothing here on the front. Reduced the toe in angle to minus 0.1 degrees. I have reduced the rear camber to minus 3.2. The ride height I've dropped down by 1 click to 80 millimeters, and the spring rate I have upped to 201 Newton millimeters. As you can see, bump stop I lowered down to 15 millimeters on the front, 12. I've put on the rear was 10, I believe. Radiator opening, closing that right up. I've got 20 litres of fuel, engine braking at 8. Traction control strength we're going to put to 18%, and then the only other change that I've made is the coast ramp, upping it from 25 degrees to 30 degrees, and that is the setup that I am going to be running here for this race. Everyone is waiting on me, so let's go straight to the grid. Let's see if we can get a decent race out of this one, as there's a car moving around. We do have the TrackIR 5, which allows me to look around the cockpit a little bit. Off to already a very good start, up 3 positions. But we should take turn 1 relatively easy, as the 2 cars on my outside are scuffling away. Did get caught up with their contacts slightly. I've got a car here on my left, but we're past him. Just trying to take things relatively smooth and just trying to survive more than anything. They're out very wide there on the outside of this Porsche. Not going to be able to make it for this right-hander down the inside, so slot in behind for now. Battling away, the 4 of us in very close proximity, as you can see. The guys are all jostling for position. Try and sneak past a couple of positions here. I was on the right of that Audi, sorry, the left of the Audi. Through there, also got past the Ferrari as well, as we saw the Porsche manage to get through. Just a quick double check of the rear view mirror there, just make sure that I have no one flying down the inside. The Porsche's made a mistake and gone and spun. This guy is spinning round. Where's he going? Staying to the right hand side of the track. All the freebies so far are up into 5th position in this race, and we have got some work to do to catch up to the guys in front. Fortunately, we do have that space behind, so I don't have to worry about them too much. Yeah, about 1.5 to 2 seconds, if not slightly more, so don't have to worry about checking the mirrors quite so much now as we come through the final couple of turns just to complete the first lap of the race. And the gap is about 5 odd seconds to the driver in front, so really got my work cut out for me here. Rear end a little bit loose. They're just coming off the brakes and into the first corner. And also again coming into turn 2, but this Ginetta is a hell of a lot of fun to drive when you're kind of backing it into the turns a bit like that. It's not really good for the straights. It does suffer, that's its weaker area, but it's very, very good on the brakes, and very, very good in the corners. Those are its 2 main strengths, so I'll try and put those to the car's advantage, especially here in this this second sector of Zolder, where it's very, very tight and twisty. Down into 2nd gear, thread it through the chicane, riding up all over the curbs. Taking that corner pretty much completely flat out, just about managing to stay on the track as well. Down into 2nd gear for the hairpin, and we're driving away, and we're definitely closing up on the guys in front, which is good news. As I mentioned earlier, 7-lap race. So we should have the time to actually close them down. I was quite heavy on the brakes there. Wasn't really easing off the brakes quite like I'd like to into the penultimate turn. A bit smoother this time into turn 1, but wasn't really quite hustling the car as much as I needed to get it in towards the apex. Car moving around a little bit. Very wide on the exit curve there. Now the guy in front does have a 1-second penalty. Now I can see up in the the top left. Thread our way between those very large curbs on that chicane there. Again, we built ourselves a nice gap to the guys behind, so I'm not having to worry about them. Ooh. This setup isn't by anywhere near optimal for this car. I was just at about 7 minutes to play around and find something that could potentially work, and this is basically what I settled with at the end of the qualifying session. So if I actually had some time to actually sit down and refine the setup, I could probably find something that suits the car a lot better, kind of just tames it a little bit. Although, speaking to Mike Simpson, one of the Ginetta factory drivers, mainly about the G55 GT4 car at Bathurst, he says it's quite a fun ride going up over the top of the mountain, right on the limits of the grip, and you're basically just soaring away at the wheel. So he's done the Bathurst 12 hours a couple of times in the Ginetta. He also confirmed that it really struggles on the straights in comparison to the other GT4 cars, but over the top of the mountain, absolutely rockets across the top there. And that's where the car really comes into its own. So we're on lap 4. Quite a bit of oversteer there coming out through the exit of the chicane. Much nicer and smoother run through that flat out right-hander, sorry. I was going through a left-hander, that's kind of what threw me a little bit. Kind of need these guys to start battling away, just to allow me to close up the gap a little bit. Pantera is the guy who's out in the race lead. He's an absolute alien, so there's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to catch him. And it seems that second place Cohen does is also very, very quick as well. So I don't think second's on the cards. I think third place is probably going to be our most reasonable and best opportunity, or the highest possible finishing position that I can actually get. But I do need to close up onto these two guys a little bit more. They are battling away, which is good news for me. Should allow me to close up a little bit more, especially as Hamburger Bass, driver in front, has now got a 2-second penalty. So I just need to keep my nose clean as both drivers are off. Oh dear. Well, that's me up into third position. 2 freebies of that. So I don't really need to worry about pushing too much now. Got a bit of a gap to Hamburger behind. Can't see him in the rear view mirror. See on the relative though, he's a bit behind. Yeah, just over 2 seconds. Made that 3 seconds. Oh, slight screen freeze that. Still, We are going on. Oh my god, is this a mandatory pit stop race? A number of drivers that dove into the pits. I think this could be a mandatory pit stop race. I didn't actually see that. It should flash up telling me to pit at the end of the lap. Just keep catching that curve on the inside there. Just slightly awkwardly. Something that some of you may have already noticed, and I just highlighted there by looking down at the gear shifter, is the driver's right hand is moving off the steering wheel to use that sequential shifter. That's down there. A simple just push and pull. Pull towards you to shift up a gear, push away to shift down. As back when Project Cars 2 was in development, that was the system that Janetta was using. Yeah, there we go. So here's a mandatory pit stop that we do need to serve. I didn't actually practice the pit stop, so I don't know where the pit limiter line is. There it is. Right, so none, 0, off, good. Go back, close that. Just using the ICM there to get things sorted. Unfortunately, this lobby doesn't allow for manual control in the pit lane, which is kind of good in a way that it allowed me to fiddle with the ICM there without any hassle. But at the same time, it would have been nice to actually drive through the pit lane myself. It's the method that I do prefer. So we should hopefully resume in 3rd place, but it does seem like one of the drivers is relatively close. Maybe. No, he's not. It was just coming into the pit lane. Although I do need to be careful on the pit exit here to not run over that pit exit line, but that was a good, nice, smooth run out of the pit lane. Much smoother run there through that right-hander. And we do have that gap behind still, so it should be a pretty comfortable 3rd position in the end, having started 17th. That's quite a good fun race. Quite hectic trying to work through all the chaos on the first lap. There was a little bit of contact here and there, but nothing too major. I did manage to keep my nose somewhat clean, and then obviously trying to hunt down 3rd and 4th position back when I was in 5th. Unfortunately, they both made a mistake. I think they had a bit of a coming together, which allowed me to slot up into 3rd place without having to battle physically on track. So last couple of turns now. Nice and smoothly through them. A little bit of oversteer on the exit. And then coming across the line to take that final podium spot. Pretty happy with that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. If you have any comments or questions, obviously feel free to leave them down in the comments section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. And of course, consider subscribing to the channel for more future Project Cars 2 content. And obviously hitting that bell notification will make sure that you don't miss out on any new videos. But until the next one, thank you very much for watching. I've been Yorkie065. Have fun, stay safe, and take care.